Hello, Daily Drafters. Today is Tuesday, November 16th, and thanks for joining me for today's Daily Draft. This will be our third draft of the new set, Innistrad Crimson Vow. Let's go ahead and get on in there and see if we can have any better luck with Pack 1 Pick 1, and from the looks of it, looks like we won't. Wah wah. Don't want to pick a land as our first card here. See what the next best card is. Looking at the commons, I like Flourishing Hunter. Let's see. That is probably Stitched Assistant being another really good one. Probably between these two for commons. I do think this is a pretty easy Parasitic Grasp, though. So, if you don't know how Cleave works, basically if you cast a spell for its Cleave cost, you remove the text that's in the bracket. So you can either pay 1 and a white to deal 3 damage to a human and gain 3 life, or you can basically murder a creature and also gain 3 life with the Cleave version of this. So I think that's what we're going to go with. Not really passing a ton of great black, which is good news for us. So we'll see if anything comes our way after a first pick black card here. Another miss, swinging a miss here on our rare slot. How about, let's see what else we have. Ballista Watcher, very good card. This card kind of closed us out yesterday in one of our games. So probably going to go with Ballista Watcher. Let's take a look at what else we have. We'd have a Wolf Strike, good removal. Heron of Hope being a good aggressive white lifelinking card. And black-white does want to be lifelinking. And now that I think about it, this does gain 3 life. This also allows lifelink and can gain more life as well. I do think Ballista Watcher is a better card in a vacuum, but with our first pick, the Heron of Hope is in consideration here. Black-red wants to be a little bit more vampires. This isn't even a vampire. I think I'm going to go with the Heron of Hope and see if we can pigeonhole ourselves into a black-white life gain here. That's not a deck I've drafted yet in this format. Immediately rewarded with all of the black-white cards here. Let's see, Restless Bloodseeker. 2 mana 1/3 at the beginning of your end step. If you gain life, create a blood token. Sacrifice 2 blood tokens to transform it. Still the same text on the other side, but you can pay 5 to drain them. There's also Circle of Confinement, though. And this is a really, really close pick between these two. I think this is a generically good card. This really only goes in black-white life gain. I'm not necessarily expecting this card to wheel, but there's a better chance that it does than Circle of Confinement. And when you're presented with premium removal, it's really hard to pass it. I mean, honestly, if Desperate Farmer comes back, that'd be a great pick for us on the wheel for a black-white life gain deck. So let's go ahead and take the removal spell here. All right, now things start to dry up a little bit. Catapult Fodder has applications more in green-black in this set. Blood Fountain, a little slow, but I wouldn't be upset with playing one. Vampire's Kiss just isn't really where you want to be in a black-white life gain deck, because the magic number is usually 3 that you need to gain for anything to happen with some of the payoffs, and this doesn't even get to that. Traveling Minister, you can gain a little bit of life with this. Adamant Will, more of an aggressive card. I think I'm going to go ahead and take what I think is the best card in the pack in Catapult Fodder. I don't know if it would fit well with the black-white life gain deck, or if maybe we kind of pivot towards green-black if we see some late cards in that respect. But we'll go ahead and, yeah, so here, Bleed Dry, just 4 mana instant kill a creature, and exile it as well, which is important in this set with Disturb. So I think it's pretty easy. Bleed Dry, and we're just going to keep on going down this path of black-white here. Let's see, 1 mana 1/1 with Vigilance. You can sacrifice it. Target creature you control with a 1/1 counter gains lifelink and indestructible till end of turn. That doesn't really seem like something we're going to be necessarily going towards here. So at the beginning of your upkeep, any opponent may sacrifice a creature. If no one does, you get a 3/3 flyer. That can sometimes be a 5/3 flyer. I think that's just not good enough for its rate. I could be proven wrong on that. Honestly, it's just between these 3 cards, and I don't think any of them really fits in our deck super well. So I'll go ahead and take the uncommon, but I don't think I want to run this. Just 4 mana 1/3. They can just choose not to sacrifice a creature, and then you have a 4 mana 3/3 flyer, which just isn't good enough. And this, there we go. Almost got glitched out on there. All right, so things drying up for us here. Not looking great. Let's see what the best card in the pack is. So, looks like blue-red spells seems to be pretty open here. So Cruel Witness and Witness the Future being good cards in that deck. I don't think we're necessarily going to play any of these. We'll take Cruel Witness. I think it might just be the best card in the pack, but not really leaning towards switching to blue for it. Again, no black and no white cards in this pack, so that's a little disconcerting here. Stitched Assistant, 3 mana 3/2, you can exploit, and then whenever it exploits a creature, scry one and draw a card. Seems pretty good. Hookhand Mariner, just a 4 mana 4/4, could turn into a 6/6, also seems pretty good. I think I'm going to go ahead. Doesn't look like we really have sacrifice fodder going on yet, so I'm going to go ahead and take the 4 mana 4/4. Again, no black or white, so let's see if this is probably still the best card in the pack. There is another Stitched Assistant, which is appealing, but let's go ahead and take the Flourishing Hunter here. Looks like we might be getting pushed off of black-white a little bit, which is not great for us. Wolf Strike, late green good removal spell. So I think green might need to be a pivot here. So what would we be giving up on? Heron of Hope and Circle of Confinement, as I think black-green would be better for us so far. So let's take the removal spell, see if this continues, and it does look like it's continuing. We have a good green aggressive 3-drop here. And if we can find any of the Ancient Lumbernauts for this deck, we've already got, I mean, we've got a 1/3 here, we've got the fodder, this will be a 1/4. Could look like a good Ancient Lumbernaut deck if we can find that. So let's get back into green. Looks like black-white was a little bit cut from us there. So see what happens here into pack 2. So as far as green goes, Dig Up can be a 1 mana search your library for a basic, or it can be a 4 mana in specifically black-green for a Demonic Tutor. Seems pretty good. Foreboding Statue can go in either deck we decide to go with today here. There's another Bleed Dry though. So, and there's a Sharpshooter. So good options for us here. Black-white. No, there's no options for the black-white life gain deck here. So I think it's between Bleed Dry and Dig Up. I think removal is too important. I don't think the removal is outstanding in this set. And if we can get a really good removal spell, another copy of it, this may be the wrong pick. Dig Up could be better, but we don't have any bombs we need to go get with this card right now. If we had a crazy bomb, I think I'd go with Dig Up there. But we don't really have anything outstanding to go get. So let's see. Manaform Hellkite. 4 mana 4/4 flyer. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX dragon with flying and haste, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast that spell, exile it at the end step. So obviously that's a bomb. But gosh, I just don't know if it's too late to try to pivot towards red. It would obviously be the best card in our colors here. But if we take that and lean towards black-red, we're looking at 6 playables. Honestly, I don't really like anything else in this pack. Maybe Toxic Scorpion. So I'm going to go ahead and take the dragon, but I don't know if we're going to be able to play it. So let's see what happens here. Okay, so if we're thinking green-black, Sporeback Wolf, fine 2-drop. Don't think Groom's Finery's for us, or Bride's Gown. Funny they're both in the same pack here. Unhallowed Phalanx, unplayable unless you get multiple copies of the Lumbernaut, so I don't think that's for us. I think we're leaning either black-green or green-red or black-red, something along those lines. I don't think this red card's good enough to follow up. So let's go with Sporeback Wolf here. Difficult pack. Not a lot of pulls into any colors really there. Okay, so a couple of decent cards here. Another good green 4-drop. We've already got one, but 4 mana 4/4s are just good. 5 mana 5/4 that has exploit, that you can make them sack a creature if you exploit, but we're not looking to have a lot of good exploit targets. There's another sharpshooter, but that's looking to be a more of an aggressive card, and I'm not sure we're leaning super aggressive here. So let's take this. These two werewolves can also go into green-red if we see some more red open in this pack to go with our Hellkite. But again, this is a non-creature spell. It's almost a red-blue-gold card. I mean, how many non-creature spells do we even have right now? 6, and almost all of them are black. So, yeah. Okay, so best card in the pack here, I think, is Sigardian Paladin. Another difficult draft. Another difficult draft. Not exactly sure which route to go down here. As far as other cards, I don't think I'd be interested in playing 2 of these. Gluttonous Guest, maybe. I'll just take the best card in the pack here and hope something opens up. Okay, some good options here. So we have a Reclusive Taxidermist and a Diregraph Scavenger. Both cards I'm happy to put in my deck. Bloodcrazed Socialite can go in there in a pinch. So I think it's between one of these two. And are we looking to be more black or green? So I don't think this is looking to make it. I think our black is more powerful, but we have more green cards. So let's take the Taxidermist. And we can look to go into black-green here, I think. So here's a late Heron of Hope. Dreadfugue, not really for us. Mulch, no. Witch's Web, it's a combat trick. They're replaceable. I think the White Dream has passed here. So maybe we could Splash Circle if we were able to get some Evolving Wilds or Fixing. I think we're leaning towards black-green, and I think we have to really hope we see some... Here we go. So black-green fatties, just dropping big butts can be a good strategy and limited sometimes. You know, if you drop 2 6/6s in a row and gain 4 or 6 life each time, that's hard to come back from. So if we can keep the board clear with some removal before we get there and some good 3-mana blockers, it's good. Okay, so really late Diver Scob. I think black, or I think blue, maybe specifically blue-black Exploit might be pretty open in this pod, but we'll take green here. And I think we Toxic Scorpion Wield, aim for the head, and we don't need another Witch's Web. So let's take Toxic Scorpion. Again, this holds down the fort till we can drop our big guys here too. So we can play the Scorpion. We'll just go ahead and cut green. Another Sharpshooter. Sure. Again, holds down the fort nicely, even if we're not attacking with it. Rural Recruit. I think that's more of a green-white gold card, but we'll go ahead and put it in there for now. All right, let's see if we can fill out this black-green deck with a little bit more power here. Winged Portent. Draw a card for each... No, that's unplayable. Cartographer's Survey. Nope, that's the one that gets all the land cards. Archghoul of Thraben. I mean, we're just not... We have 1 zombie in the deck. Bloodsworn Squire. Discarding a card to give it indestructible. Skeleton, Weaver of Blossoms. I think it's just a Weaver of Blossoms. Kind of a sad Weaver of Blossoms. Yeah, I mean, this with the Taxidermist, if we can pick up an Evolving Wilds at some point, we can easily splash single-pipped cards. Maybe like Circle of Confinement. Maybe the Paladin, if we find it's worth it. But I'm not sure this Hellkite's going to make it for us. Red just has not seemed open. Looks like we might end up black-green for the second day in a row here. All right, so see, is this splash worthy? Deals 2 damage to you. Exile the top card. No, not really something we need to be looking to splash. Dawnheart Disciple. How many humans? We do have 10 humans. That's a lot of humans. What's our curve looking like? It's looking pretty good. A little heavy in the 4-drop, but we're probably going to cut at least a few of those. I think I'm actually interested in another Weaver of Blossoms. The backside of this could actually splash our Hellkite. If we were to pick up maybe 3 of them, I could consider it, but it would need to be night for us to really even be able to do that. That might be a little bit too risky. So, all right, well, let's just draft the same deck that we did yesterday, don't we? Glorious Sunrise. I think it was a good performer yesterday. I think I learned how to play with this card a little bit more. So I think this is going to be a fine pickup for us. Right, again, if we can survive with these cards, maybe ramp it out a little early with a Weaver of Blossoms or a Taxidermist, I think it's going to do just fine for us. Here's another Weaver of Blossoms now. Phalanx, Guest, and Pup. How many wolves and werewolves do we have? 4 and 4. So, decent for the Pup. But I think I just want another Weaver of Blossoms. We could consider splashing this Maniform Hellkite off of triple Weaver of Blossoms. We'll have to see how that goes once we get to deck building. Demonic Bargain, no. Here we go. We'll take a nice removal spell again. Something yesterday's deck was lacking. A little bit of interaction. So we'll have 2 Wolf Strikes, 2 Bleed Dries, and a Parasitic Grasp. We could even splash a Confinement. Seems good. We'll go ahead and take that removal spell. Undying Malice, no. Nature's Embrace, no. Brine Comber, nothing really here for us, so we'll just go ahead and take the uncommon. Interesting, so here's the Evolving Wilds we were talking about. We have 9 instants and sorceries. Dawnheart Disciple. Spiked Ripsaw. You know what? I think the Maniform Hellkite Dream is gone. I'm going to go ahead and take the Disciple. Again, I think if we can get to these cards down here, that's going to be our path to victory in this deck. Sawblade Stinger, 4 mana, 4/3 with potential upside. I don't see... There's a Doom Dissenter. Might be able to get us to our late game here. Yeah, let's just go. It doesn't really matter. I don't think we're playing either of those. Yeah, we'll just take this for the gems. We're not playing Aim for the Head. There we go. We got another Disciple. And now at this point we're up to 14 humans. So these Disciples are actually looking to be pretty good. We have some cuts to make, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Don't need that. Combat Tricks are on the block, so doesn't matter. What else do we have here? Again, the Innocent Traveler. I mean, our 4-drop slot is looking pretty crowded, so I don't think that's something we can really afford. So let's see if we can finish out this deck here. So with the amount of removal spells we have, we may not even need to splash the Circle of Confinement, but we didn't pick up any Evolving Wilds, but again, we have a Taxidermist and 3 Weaver of Blossoms. I don't even think we need to run a Plains if we want to splash this card. So let's get into deck building view here. We have 26, so we'd need 3 cuts from this. Let's take a look. Was Catapult Fodder good in this deck? So transform if we have 3. We have 3 here. We have 3 more here. We have a Taxidermist. We have a Sporeback Wolf that would transform because on our turn it's a 2/4. Honestly, I do think the fodder would be good in this deck. So I think we can keep that. Disciple, Taxidermist, Sporeback Wolf, Scorpion. All this seems fine. I don't think we need the Rural Recruit. We may not need the Stinger, but let's take a look at our non-creature spells. I think we want all of these. Removal, 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 and our game-winning enchantment here. So I think the Stinger's on the block. And then one more cut. How many creatures are we at? 17. I'd like to keep all of our 2-drops if possible. Maybe Toxic Scorpion could be on the chopping block, but I'd like to get to these cards. And the Sunrise. So let's go ahead. Is the splash worth it? I mean, we have 5 removal spells without it. So we probably don't necessarily need it, but otherwise we're cutting another creature here. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and cut the circle, and we can go ahead and adjust that if we need to as the games go, if we realize 5 removal spells is not enough. But I think 5 should be fine. So oh, there you go. There they are. Yeah, 17 lands seems fine. And there's the deck. So a little bit more of a straightforward green-black deck today than yesterday. So let's see if we can improve upon yesterday's record. Yep, we'll go ahead and keep that. I didn't even think about it. Wolf Strike being a really good combo with Toxic Scorpion here. So we'll be able to cleave this if we need to. I'm going to go ahead and not attack because Wolf Strike is a really good combo with Toxic Scorpion. We can leave up Parasitic Grasp if we really need to here. So, yeah. Three mana, 3/1 that comes back. Okay. Whatever. It's flying as well, so let's go ahead. Which one do we want to kill? Let's kill... Well, we want to kill this, but which removal spell do we want to use? I think while the getting's good, let's go ahead. And it deals damage equal to its power. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and do that one and kill their flyer. Swamp is about the worst draw in our deck here. Again, don't necessarily feel like offering the trade here, so we can grasp it if they go for some funny business. All right. Good combo there, yeah, yep. So I think we need to hold up Grasp now to attempt to kill whatever they do in response to casting the Lantern's Lift here. Although we'll see what we draw. Again, Swamp, worst draw on the deck. Yeah, go ahead. So if they put Lantern's Lift on Stitched Assistant, I think we'll go for the Parasitic Grasp. And then we can trade with the Spirit also if they attack, but that's leaving Fate up to the top of our deck here. Although we don't have much of a choice. Okay, so it freezes this. Still can't attack with the Spirit yet. Okay, so they didn't go for Lantern's Lift. Another steel-clad spirit. Huh. So they can lift one of them next turn. But we have to use this. So let's cleave it. I'm gonna go ahead and kill the assistant. They can lift it next turn and deal some damage to us, but... So at least this Weaver allows us to cast our Flourishing Hunter next turn, if they let it survive here. But we're going to be taking 7 to do so. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Alright, so no blocks. Now they have a 3/3 flyer. We'll go ahead. Yeah, we'll keep this back now. So we'll go ahead and cast Flourishing Hunter and see if we can stabilize with that there. So we'll have another one next turn. If it survives, we can gain 6 life, which will be great. Seem to be flooding out a little bit just like us. So what are the conditions to return this again? Sacrifice 2 blood tokens. Okay. Repository Scob. Exploit a creature. Return instant or sorceries. What are they going to return? They're going to freeze our Flourishing Hunter, maybe? It's an instant. Yeah, so they're definitely going to freeze our Hunter. But let's go ahead and... Yeah, they're not gonna bounce it, so we're not at risk of losing out on the 6 life. So let's go ahead and let them do that. Well, actually, I think we would want to attack if we could, and a double block would kind of mess us up because then we couldn't gain 6 life. So yeah, there we go. That's what we thought they would do. No attacks, and we'll just drop another one. It's our first experience seeing a blue-black exploit deck on the other side of the battlefield, and I'm kind of liking it so far. It looks to be pretty potent here. Wolf Strike, great draw for us. So we can go ahead and we can really blow them out with something here. So let's see. Let's go to combat. Go ahead and attack with our Hunter. If they go for the double block, we can Wolf Strike something down using our Scorpion. And they do, so let's go ahead. Do that, and we'll Wolf Strike, targeting this, killing the Scob. They are getting priority, so something might happen here, but looks like we're in the clear. We'll go ahead and drop another Weaver. A little bit of delays here today. I don't know what's going on, but... Okay, so they'll exile 2 and draw a card. We still have 2 6/6s, so I like our chances so far. So let's go ahead and get in there. Are choosing to chump. I see. That's okay. Still a 2 for 1. And we're left with the 6/6. Unfortunately, the rest of our creatures don't have great attacks. Oh no, do they have a board wipe? That won't be good for us. Ay, ay, ay. Well, that's how that changes pretty quickly. So, yeah. And just like that, game's pretty much over in the favor of them. You know, when we've had 3 drafts here and really have not been able to play many bomb rares, and then as soon as one comes down, we just kind of concede to it. So let's see. Gotta hope they're just flooding out, I guess. They have lethal on the backswing, but they do have to block. And we're just drawing nothing, so. Yeah, I mean, they have to block something, which means they don't necessarily have lethal. Now, if they block the... Yeah, so that should do it. Yep. Bit unfortunate there. I'd like to play cards like that too. So do we need the circle and confinement? I don't think so. I think the amount of removal we had there was good. So we're on the draw, but we can't risk a 1-lander, so that's better. Unfortunately, I think we have to put back our hunter here. It's just so far away to being able to cast it, so. Now if we draw nothing but lands, that'll look awful, but gotta do what you gotta do. Looks like they're stumbling a bit here. Yeah. So they have deal 2 damage to target attacking creature, but that's fine because we both have 4 toughness. And they're just gonna go ahead and pack it in. Well, you know, sometimes you win some like that, sometimes you lose some. So 3 drop, 4 drop, into 6 drop if we need to. So yeah, seems fine. 2 drop would be a good draw, but we have at least 1 play. Two mana 3/1, okay. Pretty aggressive there. Let's go ahead and drop our mana dork. So we have access to 4 mana next turn as of right now. If we don't draw anything, we would have 5 if we do, and 5 is not great because we could only cast 1 card. So I think we're just priced into playing Hookhand Mariner here. Let's see. Yeah. We could Wolf Strike something down, but the Sharpshooter also does have reach, which is good because it can block the bat, but I don't, and it also can block the spirit. So unless they could have removal, but the other option is we could play a Weaver and then take 6 down to 9, but then the following turn we have 6 mana where we could play a Sharpshooter plus a Wolf Strike, and that would stabilize us pretty well. The following turn play a Hunter. I don't like going down to 9, but in the event that we don't draw a land next turn, that could be pretty bad for us. So I'm going to go ahead and just make sure we can get up to 6. Yeah, so they're going to attack with both. We're going to go down to 9. And then we hope they don't mess with our Weaver here. Another bat. Okay, so we kind of have to play the Sharpshooter. So we can block at least one of these bats. And then we can kill the other one to make sure we're not constantly taking more damage. So let's see if it's not night, so we're not going to do that. So let's go ahead and green. We're just going to do this now. And now I think at this point we're fine to trade our Weaver for the Fleeting Spirit if they want to attack. Because we have 6 mana with our other one to play the Hunter, where you gain 4 more life, and then we start having the biggest things on the battlefield. But, oh yeah. That's unfortunate. Okay. Don't know why I didn't consider that. So, yeah, we're looking to be on the back foot here. So we did get a transform. I think we can actually, yeah, we can cast both of our creatures here. So let's go ahead and cast the Hunter. Gain 4. This comes in as a 6/6 if we were to cast it right now, or 6/4 I mean. But then it switches back to day. Do we want to do that? So we're taking another 4 next turn, but they have removal. We could take 4, 5, 6, 7 if we attack with everything, if they remove our Hunter. 7, and then next turn we'd have to chump with the Sharpshooter. Although we can know if the Sharpshooter, if we get training on this Sharpshooter here, it can block the bat. So I think we can't play the Mariner for that reason. We're going to go ahead and attack at least like that. Maybe leave one back to threaten a block against the Spirit so that we don't go down too far. So let's train our Sharpshooter. They very likely have some sort of instant speed removal here. Probably going to remove... Oh, they don't have anything. Okay. So, probably going to do the whole thing with the bat again. We're going to go down to 5. But our Sharpshooter can block it next turn. Okay, so let's go ahead... and go to combat. Let's attack with these 2 because we have 6, 7, 8 mana for 8 more here. We're going to leave the Sharpshooter back to threaten a block against the bat. We're going to chump. Okay. So we're going to discard a card to blink it. Sure. Go to damage. We'll play our 6/4. And then we still have Bleed Dry Up if they try anything funny here, so. Can't give it first strike, because they don't have 3 cards. So let's see what they do. Okay, so they're going to give it -2, -2, so we're going to have a 0/3, but it still has training. Yeah, so then they're going to tap their ministers to do that, and we can kill the bat. And then they're going to be in pretty bad shape. Okay. Okay, I see, sure. So they're all in on this bat here. Let's see if they tap both their ministers. Okay. Okay. So we'll kill the bat here. Fortunately, it does go back to day. That should be alright. We'll go ahead and get in for 10. I'd hate to die to... So if they draw removal for Weaver, we block this one and take 2. But they're basically dead on the backswing. Not officially, but... These will go into 3/4s are going to flip because we're going to flip it back to night here. So yeah, let's go ahead. Get in for 10. We'll hold the land as a bluff. And flip it back to night. See if they top deck their way out of it. Doesn't look like they do. So those sharpshooters are looking to be pretty good in this format, especially in green because they have reach. Even though they have training, they fit well in green-black and in green-white because of training and the large toughness, and reach is very important. So they've definitely overperformed for me so far this format. So it looks like our match has been made, but we're not quite getting into the match yet. So hopefully this resolves itself. So like I may need to exit arena and get back in just to make sure it's not us that's buffering here. So if there's a quick glitch in the video going forward, that's just me editing out, getting out and back in. Oh, well, here we are, I guess. It's probably going to end up in a draw. Yep. Matchmaking issues. Hopefully they're not coming back from yesterday. All right, 2-drop, removal. Yep, seems good. So interestingly, we can play our Disciple on 2 and then the Taxidermist, even though this is a mana dork, to get the trigger if we need it. But I think that draw changes my mind on that, because then we can just play a turn 3 Hookhand Mariner, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do here. Jinx. So if we get down Weaver and then we draw a land, we have a turn 4 Flourishing Hunter. That seems really, really good. Not sure I can resist that. It's not the most mana efficient thing to do with our Taxidermist here, but I'd like to get that option out. Because if we have a turn 4 6/6 that gains 3 life, that's big game. Whenever it attacks, search your library basic land that doesn't share a basic land type with the land you control, put on the battlefield tap. And 5 and a green, create an insect and put at least 2 or 3 counters on it. Okay, so not an immediate threat, but we can kill it if we need to. So yeah, I mean, like I said, turn 4, 6, 6, let's do it. Hopefully they don't have their own bleed dry or something similar. I feel like if they did, they would have fired it off here. Spore Crawler, sure. So they have 2 mana up. And we can hold up Bleed Dry here. So let's see what they do when we attack. So they're thinking about it. They have something. They don't do anything. Okay. Seems fine for us. We'll go ahead and drop our 2-drop, our Hookhand Mariner. Next turn we can hold up removal. And we have a bigger board than them. So they don't use that 2 mana spell, whatever it was. See if they get a 3rd color here. They do. So we could threaten to bounce it here. Maybe they were just going to get that red mana, but I feel like if we were to double block, that would not go well for us. So we can go ahead and no blocks. I think we are the ones that are on the aggression here. So with the removal spell, we can just kind of remove whatever we need to make attacks good for us. I prefer to have the removal spell up if we're going to get into defensive combat. Seem to be doing a lot of thinking over there. Oh my gosh. Well, at least we drew the removal spell, right? So this offers a trade, but I'm not sure we're going to get any better than that. So let's go ahead and just offer that trade. We could trade for the Weaver as well. Thank God we have the removal spell there. That's probably one of the most obnoxious cards in this set. So they go to 2, and now they need to draw their way out of this one here. We have 3 lethal threats. So if they play a creature, they're technically not dead, but... Got a 2-1 and a 2-2 that they're unlikely to exploit here. So we don't have outstanding attacks, but I mean... So let's see, if we attack with everything, They could eat it, chump, chump. Or they could double block our Flourishing Hunter with these two. That would force a double chump as well. Let's see if they get priority as we go to combat here. That might change our decision. So they do. I'm not sure we can sit around is the problem. Well, I guess we can. They're at 2, and all we need to do is really get one more creature than them on the board. They can start pumping out insects with the Shaman though, so that's going to be impossible even if they flood out. They have something. We just don't know exactly what it is. So let's get in with our 2 decent attacks here and force their hand. Kind of have to do something. They can maybe chump and bounce, but I don't think that's a long-term play for them. Okay, so they'll chump and trade. That seems like a fine deal for them. So we have a 4/4. Let's go ahead and trade. We still are left with our 6/6 though, so there is that, and we are dropping another creature they didn't know about. So, all right, so we're back here against Cloister. Looks like we timed out for a second. They went ahead and made an insect on their turn. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have great attacks because they can trade the insect with our hunter and just make another one. So this looks to be possibly getting a little bit out of hand for us. We have 2 creatures in the yard. This could become a 4/4 at some point. We can train this to survive. So if we do attack with everything, they do have to, so they could eat it and die. So they have to have something here. So again, because they're constantly pumping out insects here, we have to be on the offensive because they can just pump out 4/4s every turn. So something's got to happen. Yeah, unfortunately they get it again. So they do go to 1. They're going to have 3 creatures again next turn to our 3 creatures. But we still have a 6/6. So it's the biggest thing on the board here. Worst case scenario, they're able to create an insect and play a creature, which would not be great for us. Maybe they have a braid? Oh gosh. So they can bounce the sharpshooter with the shaman, chump with an insect, and then eat our taxidermist if we attack with all. If we attack with just the hunter and the sharpshooter, they can bounce our sharpshooter and trade an insect for the hunter, which is bad. Yeah, this looks to be slipping away from us a little bit because of this Hiveheart Shaman here. So, fortunately they have something for 2 mana. I'm really hoping it's not in a braid, because if it is, this isn't going to go well. But again, we don't really have flyers, and we don't have direct damage. So, as long as we have attacks that even are remotely okay, we have to take them. So logical blocks would be, yeah, they do have the kill spell. So that should probably be game in their favor here. We don't really have a choice, like I said, so fortunately, looks like we're going to lose to really good rares that we don't get to play with. Yeah, I get it. Looks like this one slipped away from us. I mean, I can't think of anything in our deck necessarily that would get us out of this at this point, but may as well give it another draw step or two. Yeah, they're gonna have, yeah, I think we can pack this one in. Well, close but no cigar. Oh gosh. No black with a double black card, 2 6-drops and a 5-drop. That could go wrong real fast. Let's go ahead and keep this one and we'll put back a forest so we could still cast Bleed Dry. Get in there and we'll use it because we don't have another way to use our mana. Good draw there. Let's go ahead. Well, don't know if we actually want to make that trade now. Forgot that had vigilance. Let's do no attacks and play the catapult fodder. Next turn we have a 4/4. Which we can transform into a 6/4 holding up a removal spell. That also exiles, so that could be good against the infantry. Mana 2/3 lifelink that disturbs to give another creature lifelink. Yeah. Alright, so something's weird with how this is working, so oh well. Just kind of doing it without me releasing. They look to be very aggressive here. We're holding up the fort. So let's So they can go for the double block on the Mariner. We can bleed dry here. But if we let the Mariner transform, it's unblockable. Which I think is better. Can't be blocked by power creatures of power 2 or less. So let's just kind of hold for a second. We'll let it transform and then we'll start mowing down their board with bleed dries. Another infantry, okay. Do we want to use a bleed dry? I don't think we need to. So let's go ahead, get in there with our unblockable 6/4. Play a creature and end the turn. So we don't have Bleed Dry up right now, but I don't think we're under immense pressure. If they get rid of our Raider, then that's not going to be great for us. But yeah, so let's see what they have here. Let's see, so let's bounce that, eat that, and eat that. Is there some sort of mass pump here? Maybe creatures get +1/+0? That would be fine. Yeah, let's try and see if... I mean, worst case, what are we taking? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're gaining 2 to 13. We have 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the back. Yeah, we have double removal. As long as we can keep the Raider alive. I think our fodder is going to survive this too, so... Let's see what they have. Okay, so they're going to go ahead and kill the Raider. Alright, so let's go ahead and pump the Wolf. So we keep all of our creatures like this. So they can put their counters on something. Yeah. So this doesn't let us hold up Bleed Dry, but it is night, so we have a 3/4. Yeah, so let's get in with these two. Hold back our blocker. We could threaten a double block against the Ancestor, but if they go for it, I'm not sure we go for it as well. So, okay, so they're very aggressive here. Casting creatures. Well, whenever anyone casts a creature, they lose 2 life. Okay, so let's... Is that first strike? It does. Let's go ahead and get rid of their life linker and exile it. Go to combat, we'll attack like this and like this. Yeah, it seems fine. Sure. So if they want to use this aura here on their Gatekeeper, that's totally fine because we could just kill it next turn. So. Or we can just keep it alive to make them keep taking damage every time they have to advance the board here. So what do we want to do? Why don't we attack with the Wolf and then Bleed Dry to 2-for-1 them? The Disciple can threaten the block as well. Well, not really because it has first strike. So why don't we attack with the Wolf here? They might just want to get rid of their Gatekeeper to make sure they don't take any more damage when casting creatures. That does what it looks like they want to do. So we'll just go ahead and pump it. And we'll end the turn. So we do have to start drawing some sort of creatures with power. Otherwise, this is going to happen where we start falling behind again. So now we basically lost our attacks, so. Let's see, so we have Bleed Dry, we can exile the infantry. And then we still have an attack with the Wolf. This has training and can give something flying. I think this is a bigger problem right now. Here, There's another land for us. I don't think there's going to be a better time. So yeah, I mean, I figured they would do that, but at some point we may not be able to attack with it at all, so. Now here's where the game starts flipping if we don't draw something. That's not something. Alright, so. It is night, so at least we have a 6/4. But as long as they have a 5/5, I mean, it's still going to trade. So will the Shield Basher. They're going to have a 6/4 indestructible now. Or a 7/7 flyer. Okay. We'll just keep drawing lands. Yeah, so they attack with both. We have to chump, and then we can't kill them on the backswing. Oh god. Sure. So we're just dead next turn. Which one do we want to chump with? This attacks a little better, but we're really not attacking. Yeah, I guess we're just going ahead and we're not going to flip this next turn either. So wonderful. You know, we just when you're down, you're down, right? So we lost the last one to Mana Flood. We lost an earlier one to a Bomb Rare. And the first one to a Bomb Rare. So here we are again at 2 and 3, you know. Hopefully this gets a little better. Hopefully at least you're learning something about the format for your own drafts, if anything else. Maybe it's don't do what I do, but here we are. So looks like that'll do it for today's video. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow for your daily draft.